Emotional eating. There had to be a catalyst, right? There had to be something that happened that caused a desire for us to reach for foods that aren't conducive to our health. So what is the actual real danger with emotional eating? Because it's not that first thing. It's not even reaching for that second thing. All right, so the real bad thing is that you end up with what you were trying to avoid in the first place. You end up with another fear of not being enough. You end up with guilt because you succumb to eating something you weren't supposed to eat. And so when that happens, then we're already feeling not enough, so we're going to go to a different one. We're probably more likely to go up here and emotionally eat again. It's kind of like the Austin Powers, I eat because I'm unhappy, and I'm unhappy because I eat thing. But anyway, so what happens then? Now we're going to get more of what we were trying to avoid in the first place, because now we might go to anger because we were so upset with ourselves. We get even more mad with who we are, and we end up lashing out or snapping at someone that we care about, like our significant other, for instance. And what happens then? Okay, so now we've shown some anger. Now the husband or the wife or the boyfriend or the girlfriend snaps back at us. 2 hours later, you're feeling pretty guilty about that. You end up emotionally eating again, and then you get to feel guilty about that, and then maybe you go through another bit of anger at yourself, and then eventually you're wondering and you're getting anxious that you're going to end up losing all of your progress that you've made, all because you emotionally ate. And then what do you end up doing? Giving up on all the progress that you've actually made, and emotional eating giving you more of this crazy little cycle. This is the cycle of the fear of not being enough. This is the anger, the guilt, the embarrassment, worry, all these different things. This is what ends up happening. This is how entrenched we get in it, and this is how easy it is to get there. And it's all, we don't notice this. We don't even know that we're doing it. All of a sudden, one little tiny thing that happened at work that brought you home to grab a Snickers bar on your way home ended up turning into all of this other junk that had really nothing to do with you and could have been headed off of the past. This is where you would go back to that video on being all in. This is when we need to start challenging our mindset, when we need to say, hey, what's actually going on here? And what's actually going on here is that you made an error. There's nothing wrong with an error. Mistakes are there for a reason. Errors are there to learn. If we didn't have these errors, you would never learn anything. So you felt guilty. Why? Because you ate something that you weren't supposed to eat? Okay, so you ate a Snickers bar. Is feeling that guilt or that anger or that anxiety serving you in any way? No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with the Snickers bar either. What do we do when we make an error? How do we deal with this? Well, first of all, you've got to acknowledge the error. You have to notice that you feel guilty. You have to notice that you ate the Snickers bar, for one, but you got to notice that you're feeling angry. You got to notice that you're feeling anxious. You got to become consciously aware of these things. All right. Past that, we have to learn as much as we possibly can from that error, because we need to correct it in the future. And after that, the third thing that you do after an error is that you have to move on. Yeah, like if you just would have stopped right here, you didn't feel so great at work, you came home and you had something you weren't supposed to eat, and then you felt guilty about it. If you would have just said, okay, I made an error, I shouldn't have had that food, what do I need to learn? I need to learn that my work has nothing to do with my love for me. Yeah, it doesn't. It has zero to do with your love for you. So at that point, then you've learned something about you. You've deepened your relationship with yourself. That's wonderful, right? Now you don't have to feel guilty. Now you can move on with the rest of your life. Now you don't have to worry that you're going to lose all your progress. You don't have to have a fight with your significant other, and you don't have to waste your time feeling guilty about something that doesn't need to be felt guilty for. And we can keep making progress. We can have a better relationship with our significant other, and we can have a better relationship with ourselves.